Hello and welcome to the, I want to say sixth, but I'm going to go with fifth episode of the Silent Switch podcast. I'm your host, Latrell. I'm here with a smiling, laughing, giggly, bubbly, Julian Jackson, man. What's up?
So Trey, how you doing? It's actually the sixth episode of
Oh, the
Solid Switch.
sixth. See, thank you. See, that's why we have co-hosts, because I'm
we,
bad with math. I'm bad with remembering stuff. So, hey, he picked up the slack for me. But,
yeah, we've been getting it, though. We've been consistent, though.
definitely, man. I feel like this is like the third week in a row we've done it. And I'm glad to be doing this again with you, man.
Yeah, definitely, bro. I'm excited, too. Like, we said it's going to be consistent. It's just something that we really want to do. So I'm excited to keep going with the podcast and continue to talk about topics that we interested in and stuff that, keep our mind going.
Exactly, man. I feel like that's what it's all about, man. Just doing something that enrich your mind a little bit, to get your brain moving a little bit, man, and talk about stuff that's a little bit deeper than we talk about normally. We got all the basic gossip and stuff that we normally, the water cooler stuff we talk about at work, man. Sometimes that stuff it has its place and time, but sometimes you want to go deeper, man. You want to talk about things that really be weighing on you at night when you up at midnight, thinking like, damn, what's really going on in this world, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Late night conversation you have with yourself, your significant other, man. It's always good to have them conversations, man, with some people that you have in life, people you care about. So
definitely, those intellectual conversations, they're always good for the soul.
exactly, man. That's all it is, man. You got to feed your soul too, man. It's good to feed your belly and stuff, but you got to feed your soul, man. Sometimes.
Definitely. You're right.
And some people don't really realize, man. We all got a soul, man, and you either grow your soul or you can shrink it, just by what you put into it.
Yeah, by what you're taking in. You're right. You're right about that taking in thing. That's real. You can either take stuff in that's going to be beneficial for you, or get rid of stuff. So definitely.
That's good though. I'm glad you said the word soul, man, because the topic we have on the agenda today, bro, is going to be about soulful stuff, the Black experience, man, the Black experience in America. When I think about soul, a lot of people, that's the first thing that come to their mind. Soul, you know what I mean? Like back in the 70s, the 80s, man, the big froze. My grandma, she had that big fro. She got a picture of the big fro of my granddad. But like, you know what I mean? Like, that's soul brother. Like when you think about
soul
that,
brother, soul sister.
Exactly. That's the first thing that come to your mind is Black people. So let's go. Let's kind of jump into that, man. Like that's what I really want us to hammer home today, man. Just how the experience look, for you as in in the society, and just things that we kind of gather now 20 plus years of life, things that we kind of seen in our perspective on all that stuff too.
Definitely. I think this is a perfect topic, especially us being Black, Black man of color, and trying to figure out this world as we go. So this is definitely just to be able to share our experiences, but also be able to just, start to think about how this actually looks on a daily basis, and how this looks for us, and also how it looks for the future and generations before us. So it's definitely a good topic. So we can definitely dive into it. How would you like to talk about, like, get into it? How would you like to get into it?
I guess first let's talk about like our perspective and experience being Black in America. And I feel like that's the thing we can talk about more expertly. You know what I mean? Like we can speak to that more as in other people's experience. Cause I know what I've been through. You know what you've been through. So
oh yeah, definitely.
Kind of dive into it like that, man. If you wanna start it off, or
oh yeah, we could. Yeah, definitely. I started off. So I'll just get a little started. Get started with just talking about my experience of living in Alabama. It's so funny. I talk to everybody. First thing I say is, "Yeah, I'm from Alabama." They're like, "Oh, wait a second, now wait, talking about you?" I'm like, "Nah, it's not like that." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it is like that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I just get my experience living in different parts of the South, and just that everyday life. As far as life, while in K through 12, also just life, higher education, as a student, and even outside of, as a student, also during my time as, being a student athlete, whatever that looks like. But I get started with just during that time as a kid, just trying to figure out, the first thing was like figuring out, what makes you who you are, the identity piece that we talk about in previous episodes. But for me, it was figuring out, like, my biggest thing growing up was the identity piece. Like, who is Julian? What makes Julian, what makes me unique? You know what I'm saying? And so I think the biggest thing for me during that time, especially when younger, was just look, you know what I'm saying? Most people, when they see me, they're like, oh, like, You know, especially when I was young, like, what is he? You know, it was funny because, you know, growing up, people would think I was, you know, like from like Saudi Arabia. You know, some people say I look like some Bin Laden was gonna throw that out there. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I actually had an uncle who used to call me like some Saddam Hussein every time, and it used to make me. I used to be real sad, bro. Like, wow, I can't believe it. But it made a lot of sense because you know when I started getting to school, people would question, you know, my race and stuff, and question, you know, my identity. And so for me, it was like it took me time to figure out, like, okay, this is who I am. But you know, like as you grow up in the schools, you know, you learn different things, right? You learn like, okay, I like this music. I like, you know, I dress this way. You know what I'm saying? I hang around these people. And for me, that made me it's who I am. And that also made me embrace, you know, who I was, you know, embrace my look, embrace the way I speak, embrace, you know, certain things, you know, that was good for me, but also, you know, embrace certain things that were bad for me as well, you know, certain language, things like that. Um, but I think the biggest thing for it too was when I look back on it now, you know, and I'm older, it's like certain things with like, you know, with my race was like, okay, and we can speak more on, I know we talked about it a little bit, was just our race was heavily focused on like, oh, if you know if you're black, then you need to you know go play sports. So everybody play as black at the school, you know, play football, basketball, play some type of sport. Um, but you know, other things like education was not you know taught. No, it wasn't you know enforced. You know what I'm saying?
No, not at all, man.
No, not that's what I'm saying. Not it wasn't enforced at all. Like you know, it's like go out, you know, go to recess and ball out of recess for football. And say like grab a book, read a book, like get more intelligence. You know what I'm saying? uh, that wasn't really you know discussed like you know in school and stuff. But you know, as I got older and stuff, that you know, I realized that that's a big piece of your identity is being able to educate yourself, things like that. Um, but this is a little bit about me. Like I said, non-peace with being like you know myself. I was more of like just kind of laid back, quiet, things like that. Um, and you know, different experiences in public school, private schools, but just being able to see that you know I think as you get around other people, especially other race, you know, and that's something that I didn't experience till I was in like maybe seventh grade. Being like the minority, I mean, being the minority, you know, being around the majority of all blacks, and then going to being a minority at a school in seventh grade, I realized quick that you know the way that you know I was raised is totally different than how everybody else was raised, or the way I talk is totally different than how everybody else talk. You know, because typically growing up, you know, elementary, I was able to talk how I talked. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's like, okay, cool. Like you talk how I talk. We got certain lingo, things like that. But then you start to get around, you know, other individuals who, you know, haven't picked those things up or don't know what those things are. And, you know, nothing against them. It was just a thing of like, okay, how can I continue to be myself while also being in this space, you know?
Right.
And, you know, I think as you know, you get in high school, you start to get, you know, get in high school, things like that. Then you start to be more around more diversity. But I definitely think it kind of came back to me like middle school, like seventh grade, finally came back to me in college as a freshman, going to like, you know, a PWI. But it also, you know, brought out, you know, so many great things in me, allowed me to be like myself, allowed me to be, you know, authentic, but also allow me to realize that you know the world that we live in around us, and I can keep going on for some time though. I'm about to tell a whole life story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But we can talk about ourselves for hours.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about it. That means you know yourself well in and out.
Definitely,
that's great to have, man. I mean, I guess for me, man, I guess I go on to dive.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I mean, my experience, you know, I grew up in Alabama too as well, man. So like you said, I could definitely relate to that things he would talk about how like it's not racist, but it is racist in a lot of ways, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like underlying, like you can feel it, you know, you're in certain rooms, certain environments, around certain people. It's just that that tension and uneasy feeling that you feel as a black person.
Mm-hmm.
It just is there. You know what I
mean?
Yeah. And so for me personally, my experience was more of kind of similar to yours, man. Growing up, not really knowing who I am, but knowing like, you know, I like certain things, but like it's not really the prototypical black thing to like. Like I like certain music that was prototypical, like rock music and alternative music and pop music and stuff like that. It wasn't. I still like rap and hip hop too, but it was like
definitely
I like this stuff too. But it was like they kind of classify like that white music. I'm like I always felt weird. It's like to me, I always say music. Like why you got to classify the white? Like it's just music.
Yeah, music is music. Yeah, you're right about that. That's
Exactly.
one thing too. Like same experience, bro. Like it was always that type of thing. Like it's okay to be, it's okay to be different. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's okay to like what you like. And like it was funny because we had talked. Remember we talked last year? Was it last year we talked about just the different types of music? I think it was like the
Yeah.
Fray or something like that.
We talk
Yeah,
about it a lot, man, because we both have similar tastes in music, man. And
yeah,
growing up, that was always a thing. Like it'd be from like not just like my friends and people I hung around liked it too, but it was like more
yeah,
from my family was like, why you listen to that white music? Like when mom come around, what you
yeah.
got that white music on for?
It was
You know
like
what I mean?
everybody, hey Chris, what you got going on, man? What you
Exactly. Mom wasn't that
got?
girl yet. Like then it always made me feel subconscious. Like damn, like
Yeah,
maybe I'm doing this wrong. Maybe I'm living the wrong way. Maybe I'm listening to the wrong
yeah,
music. You know what I mean? And I also went
yeah,
into like how I am, how I was, and carry myself as a person because like
yeah,
I never talk black for it. You know what I mean? Like I have
yeah,
certain like
yeah,
dialect I speak because I just what I grew up with, but like
yeah.
I never was the one to use like I mean
A
like
country grammar.
exactly. Mine's more country than anything, but like
Yeah,
I wasn't like speaking like you would think a prototypical black person would speak. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I was like, "Oh, you always talking white, acting white." I'm like, "What you mean? I'm
yeah,
just being myself." That always made me feel
yeah,
like myself was wrong. So I
yeah,
just grew up with that mindset. Like, dang, like you got to act a certain way as a black
mhm,
man to fit in with other black people, which is crazy to
yeah,
think about, but that's how it was for me. And so I
yeah,
grew up always like second guessing myself, like, damn, am I doing this the right way? Am I talking a certain way? I was like, you know how they say code switching for like going from black to
mhm,
white,
yeah,
but like a professional environment. Mine was kind of
mhm,
opposite. I'll go from like acting how I am now to like trying to be more like talk more
yeah,
like like not
yeah,
hood, but talk more like trying to fit in more with the black
more,
community.
yeah,
Things like that. And I'm
yeah,
like, damn,
yeah,
I want them to think I'm lame or square or something like that.
yeah,
I'm like, what I mean? So I'm trying to switch how I talk, how I like
mhm,
present myself, kind of fit in. I always feel like this like dichotomy or whatever, like this I
yeah.
wasn't being myself.
It wasn't being so. Yeah,
That
you're right.
makes sense. I'm gonna be myself. So I always feel like, damn, like something don't feel right. Like this don't
Yeah,
feel right to me. So I went.
yeah,
That was how I was basically from I would say middle school. That's when I really started. Elementary school, like you can just
yeah,
be a kid. Nobody gives a fuck like how
yeah,
you act.
yeah. No, they don't.
But middle
Yeah,
school, it started to be different. Like I remember the first day of class, man, in middle school, like asked us our favorite show. And I'm like, my favorite show. I'm in the anime, so my favorite show was Naruto. And I said that, and I
yeah.
started getting clouded about it. So I was so passionate about this show. Like, I'll never bring this to anybody again. Like, this gonna be like a
No.
secret. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I felt so bad
yeah,
about myself that I was like, damn, like maybe I'm
yeah,
wrong for liking this stuff. Like maybe something wrong about me, just how I am as a
yeah,
person. So I kind of kept that with me as I got older, man, and it kind of
yeah.
manifested even further when I got to college. I went to a
Mm,
majority black college, Tennessee State
mm,
University, and
yeah,
like, and I'm not trying to knock those HBCUs. They are great.
mm,
I'm glad black people have a place they feel like they can be around other black people and all that good stuff,
yeah.
man. But for me, it was like it was so draining because I felt like I couldn't be myself because
You
I didn't
can be
see nobody
yourself.
else around me that was like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Mm,
always felt like a person that likes. I always been a person that likes to go his own way, do things his own. I
mm.
don't like. Excuse me, somebody.
Following the crowd.
Yeah, I don't like following the crowd. I like to beat.
Yeah,
I like to walk to the beat of my own drum, man. I always been like
yeah.
that.
You're
So
right. You're
being
right.
there, I feel like I'm not finna conform to. I'm not finna change the way I act to fit in. So, excuse me. So I was like,
Mm,
I always felt like I was outcast. I always felt like I
yeah.
couldn't really fit in. Even though I was on the football team and people like me, it just feel like
Mm,
I have that intimate connection that I was craving. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
then
You're
that
right
time,
about that.
yeah, during that time it was just a weird thing, man. It was like, damn, like I know I'm black, but I guess I'm not black because I don't act
Yeah,
like they do. I don't think like they do. Like I don't care
yeah.
about the things they care about. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
for me,
I
man,
definitely think I like how you said that, bro. Like, because I was thinking about that. Like, you talking about early, like, what can really, what, what defines, black, acting a certain way, being a certain way, dressing a certain way, things like that. Um, and as especially as you get older and stuff, you got your own personality, you got your own things you're interested in. Um, but like I said, like you had said earlier, like listening to certain music, and it was crazy you say that because like I grew up listening to like 3 6 Mafia, Shine. You know what I'm saying? I grew up listening to like Hood. You know what I'm saying?
Wayne, all
Diplomats,
that
like
stuff, man.
Dipset, Wayne. You know what I'm saying? I knew every single song. Every lyric.
Yeah,
Because my bro, like, my bro put me on.
right, right.
Um, but then, as I'm like younger and like, sixth grade, same, Panic in the Disco.
Yeah,
Haven't you people ever heard of, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm listening to them like this song is fire. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's just like a
Yeah,
different. It's like a different medium. Like the music
yeah,
is just different. Like so, it make you feel
yeah,
different than like listen to like trap music stuff like that. Like
yeah,
so for me, man, it was just like I enjoyed the music, but like you said, like it felt weird to enjoy it.
yeah,
That's crazy, man. That we had that in the black community. I feel like it's one of the few communities. I can't really speak on like other
yeah,
foreign communities. I never been in those, but in the black
yeah,
community, it just seems like it's more prevalent. Like you have to
yeah,
act a certain way to fit in. Like we all gotta be this like
yeah.
monolithical thing. Like we all gotta be
Mm-hmm.
think the same, go in the same direction, like the same
Yeah,
thing, eat the same foods, dress alike,
mm-hmm.
talk alike. You gotta date. You
Yeah,
have to stay in your race when you dating. Like you can't date
yeah,
outside your race. Like it's
yeah,
always. I just feel like as black people, we want to cage ourselves in because I feel like it goes back to when centuries ago when we was caged and enslaved as a group. So it made us want to
mm-hmm.
be like us against them. So we have to stick together. That made sense
Mm-hmm.
back then, but now it's like it's different. Like it's not a us against them. It's just
Yeah,
them against people. Like we just all
yeah.
people.
We
And I
all
feel
people.
like
We all yeah,
and that's the thing we're dealing with now, man. In the black community, is like let people. We're afraid to let people be themselves because they feel like they'll take away from their blackness.
yeah.
They'll take away from us
They get
as a
canceled
community.
real quick. Yeah,
They'll take away from us as a community being black, which is not
yeah.
the case.
It was funny you say that because I was thinking about this thing, and I don't really be on social media like that. But when I was on social media, I remember Tyrese made this video, and he was like, I think it was crying about something, crying because he wanted his daughter or something. And then like the whole community, you seen it before?
I'm not laughing at conscious that's Tyrese crying.
Yeah. I think he was crying about something, you know what I'm saying? But the whole, like, you know how society, they canceled the man. They was like, oh, cancel Tyrese. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I mean, he was showing his feelings and, you know what I'm saying, he was showing his emotions. I mean, he is an R&B singer, so, I mean, it makes sense.
His territory, man. That's how he makes his money, man. You got to make the women feel something, huh?
It makes sense. But then, like, you know, I was like, wow, it's so crazy. They canceled this man just off him showing, you know, showing his feelings, you know, his emotion, R&B singer. But then I also think about what we just said, music. Just for me, not only listening to like, you know, to music that was, that's different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I'm a big alternative R&B fan. You know, I'm a big music fan. So I listen to all types of music. You know, to the point where you're around certain people, certain crowds, it's like, wait, how you know that? It's because like you know I like music.
It's crazy, like.
Yeah.
Look at you like, why you black? You supposed to know that.
Yo, how you know that song?
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. I'm supposed to know a country song.
You know what I mean? Like, they'd be so surprised. But I definitely relate to that, man.
Yeah, and the thing about it too is just when you talk about that to people, you know, they kind of like then you start to question you like, yo, like you good, or they might be like, you know, like, yo, you never told me that. It's like, yo, I couldn't tell you that because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's just you know you judgmental or it's just I feel like I wasn't allowed to be myself around you because I knew that you was gonna hit me with a how you know that, you know what I'm saying.
you afraid you won't be accepted.
Yeah, you won't be accepted. So that was definitely big for me, like growing up. But then when I went, like I said, I went to a PWI, and you know, a lot of the music that I listened to when I was younger, you know, I go to a PWI. I'm like, we at a Darty or something, or we had like a party or something or anything, and I'm over here singing the song, and they like, okay, bro, like they like, you know, embracing who I was. Yeah. I was like, cool, okay, then cool. But that really was like for me, you know, in certain parts, I was like, wow, that's crazy that I can be right here with people who don't even look like me and listen to the same music and, you know, embrace this and actually don't have to hide. I don't have to have like my headphones on to hide the music that I like, you know?
Are you taking a shower?
Yeah.
Your roommates come, hey, what the hell are you playing, man?
Yeah.
I try to deal with that a lot, bro. I understand, man. I'm glad you kind of hit on that piece of how like it actually was beneficial for you to go to a PWI. It allows you to be around other people and see that, you know, y'all just people. Like y'all, that skin color meant nothing. Like y'all just people, good, bad, ugly, whatever it was. Like y'all like the same thing because y'all like the same thing, not because y'all race made you like the same things. Y'all just happen to enjoy the same things, man. I feel like, you know, like I said earlier, man, I'm all for HBCUs and all that stuff, man. But I feel like black people shouldn't be forced to go there. Like it shouldn't be like, yeah, you need to go there, man. We need more black people at HBCUs. I mean, if they want to go there, fine. But like, I feel like you should want to be around more people than just the people you grew up with, like they like the same things you like, they do the same things you do. Because then how you gonna grow? Like how you gonna
grow? How you gonna learn from others?
The same thing your whole entire life. You're gonna still be in that same mindset, man. And that's how segregation and racism come about, because you in a bubble. And so you get around somebody else that's trying to take you out that bubble. You're like, no, I want to stay in this bubble. So you started having resentment toward that person because they different from you.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like we should not push people, let people do what they want to, but we shouldn't make them feel pressure to go to a black college because they're a black person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just kind of see it now with the athletes. Like, they're like, man, we need more 5 stars going to HBCUs and all that stuff. I mean, like, that's cool and all. That's not going to change anything for the schools. Like, you get all the 5 stars you want to. It's still going to be a black college. So, you know what I mean? Like, let these people decide for themselves. They want to go there. Cool. Do you. But don't be like, oh, man, you're not black. You don't care about the struggle, blah, blah, blah. If you're not doing it. It's not true.
Yeah. And that's the one thing. I think it's like they find that balance, because like you got individuals who, go to HBCUs, who may like bash, any school that's not HBCU. Like, oh, like I've talked to people before, that went to school in high school and they just like, oh, like HBCU, like, it's like the best thing ever. And I'm like, I understand that, but your experience, my experience is totally different. But also at the same time, it's like, I learned so much from this, I'm not saying what you learned from the HBCU is not, beneficial, but also both can be beneficial. It's just like kind of what you take from it. But I understand with that too. Like that's the biggest thing I've always heard, since graduating from college. And anytime I tell somebody I went to PWI, it's like, oh, what? Like, oh, how was that for you? You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. You must have a bug or something in front of you.
That's why I hate the summertime. I like to be able to go outside and go to the beach, man, but I can't stand bugs. Hey, wasps, bees, none of that stuff. Yeah.
But I just think the experience, though, like I said, the experience there was good, great experiences, at PWI, some experiences where it's like, okay, it shows me that, that disconnect in like two different worlds. Yeah. But it also showed me like, okay, this is going to happen in everyday life. You know what I'm saying? How will you respond to it? How will you be able to have those conversations with someone of a different race and sit right there in front of each other?
I'm glad you brought that up, man. That's another point too, man. You be around some black people don't know how to act around people that's not black. Like they just either freeze up or they just kind of like go into like defense mode. Like they just always, they carry that chip on their shoulder. So they don't know how to like handle themselves around other people that's not black and they never been around it.
You're right about
so
that.
It's like put yourself in this box where you just can only function around a certain group of people, man. It's gonna limit you so much. There's so many more people out there.
It gave me so much experience, bro. Like coming from, Dothan High School. If you guys don't know, Dothan High School was the high school we went to. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Did you go to Dothan High School? Like, what high school did you go?
Yeah. Look, but Dothan High School is an experience. Especially when we was in high school, it was an experience. But going from Dothan High School to Wake Forest, it was two different worlds. But at D-High, to go from there to Wake, I was like, yo, like, what have I been missing out on? You know what I'm saying? Because it was just more of a, I said that it was more of like just, going there and like not really getting anything from it. Yeah. And I mean, that started, we talk about like, high school, like when we played sports in high school, we had teammates and, for us to have teammates in high school, that's like, first thing you say, like, I remember it used to be like, on blood, on Crip. I'm like, bro, you're not a blood, you're not a Crip. Right. So why are you saying this? You know what I'm saying?
I did, you're on my green.
Yeah. I'm like, what? So to the point, bro, where we were like, yo, like, it's time for us to go, bro. Like, this is hilarious.
Yeah, we just did our own thing, and we're like, we ain't like that.
Yeah, he was like the outcast because he's like, bro, like we just normal, chilling, talking about everyday life, and they said stuff like that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I can't relate to them. I don't know what you're talking about.
I can't, and I'm not, I'm not like a pretender. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, they gonna on blood on Crip. I'm like on blood, like I'm like, no, I don't. Yeah. I'm not in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
never wanted to, man. Like, do you?
But individuals do that. You know what I'm saying? Even to this day, like even older people just throw themselves in something and be like, oh, I'm included with this. And what happens is nowadays, the culture, somebody say something and then you're like, come on now, bro, you lying. You know what I'm saying?
That cancel culture, man, like, I feel like it has its place, man. Like, you definitely want nobody to go around bullying people, I guess. But, like, I feel a lot of times people don't want to, like, listen to another point of view. So, like, all right, the masses say this. So, if you say something different, you can't talk. Shut up. Get out.
Mm-mm.
And that's not.
That's how it is.
We're not gonna grow like that. We're gonna go the same thing. We're gonna go from overboard here to overboard there. Like you gotta have a
Yeah.
happy medium. You gotta listen to people, man. That's the only way you can really
Yeah.
start to change things, to get other point of view. So you know what I mean. If you only listen to yourself, you will always be the same way. But if you listen to other people talk, having these important conversations with somebody that don't think like you, don't look like you,
Mm-hmm.
that's how you really gonna gain more information and grow from that.
Yeah, you're right, bro. And it's a race thing. Sometimes it's just like, like I said, the council culture thing or whatever. But you think about it just in general, like when people, like you said, if you don't, like sometimes I know individuals that be like, if you don't look like me, I don't hear nothing you gotta say.
Yeah.
If you don't, have the same beliefs I have, I don't hear nothing you gotta say. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. And it's just like, how do you grow from that? You never grow from that because basically what it is, you stuck in your ways.
Yeah. That's something I want to touch on when we talk about. I feel like the next topic should be kind of focused on Christianity, how faith and how that looks. And that's something I want to talk about when we talk about that, man. Because like you said, like people, like Christian people, like you ain't talking the same lingo they talk. They don't want to hear a word you got to say, man. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It can come straight from the Bible, but if it don't fit their perception of faith, then they don't want to hear it, man. And that makes you so strict and inflexible, man, because you don't want to really venture out of somewhere else and learn something else that can help kind of enhance your view of stuff, man. Because you can look at it a different light. You're like, damn, like you are right? You know what I mean? But people don't want to do that because it scares them. And then like everything you know might not be true anymore. You might have to rethink what's true for you. Then that scares people. People want to change, man. Change is hard. It's tough.
It's a belief system, bro. I always think like this. Like it's like you grew up a certain way, right? And just say you learn something from a person, right? From somebody you grew up with. It could be a parent, it could be a guardian, it could be whoever. And they have told you your whole life, like, this is, this is how life is. This is this, this is this, this is this. Until you actually experience, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is like, I know some people in general, like some people that I, grew up with or even just known, went to school with. And they be like, bro, I never even thought about that. Because like when I was growing up, my pop said this, or my great grandma said this, and like now I'm like, yo, the way they thought was like that was during that time. It's different now,
Yeah, you
that
gotta
type
always
of thing.
apply perspective to everything you hear, man. You can't just take things just off people's word, man. Just like with science stuff. That's why in science you always gotta have a hypothesis, but you gotta test the hypothesis, man. You can't just be like, all right, well, the sky's blue. Just deal with it. No, why is it like this? Why do we need oxygen to breathe? Why do we this and that? Like you can't just read something in the book like that's true because I read that in the book. Like, no, man, like figure out what you gotta do some research, figure out why is that true. You might not agree with that. They may be completely wrong. They might have some biases, some other things. They trying to some propaganda they trying to throw into that, which makes what they're saying, kind of not irrelevant, but just like not true. So you always gotta dig deep, man. I feel like I heard something the other day, man. Knowledge is knowing that you don't know everything. That's what knowledge is.
We ain't talking about it for you.
Like that's what knowledge is, man. If you want to learn something, you're like, I don't know this. I don't understand this. That's how you learn. That's how you gain knowledge. But you always think like, I know everything. What I believe is right. I'm standing on my convictions. You're never gonna grow. You're never gonna learn nothing.
Yeah, you're right. And the thing about it too, that's how it is. It's individuals won't just say it. You know what I'm saying? Just won't say it. Instead, just kind of be like, I'm right. You know what I'm saying? I'm right. Like, bro, just say you don't know the answer. Just go and just take the L and go and just man up.
You feel like you're right, man. At least explain why you right. Why you right? They might help somebody else understand why you right, baby. But it should be just changed.
Like, you make a little sense. You make sense.
At least inform them so they be like, oh, okay. Then they can make up their own mind whether to agree with you or not. They'll just say, I'm right. You got to agree with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't understand. Like, why do you feel like you're right about this?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's healthy. Like, as long as you're not bashing each other, I feel like that's healthy to debate with people, man. God wants you to question him. God asks anybody, but I'm okay with you questioning me because I know I know the truth. I want you to understand the truth.
You're right, bro. And I want to get into the next. I was just thinking about when we were just talking about having those like conversations, right? Being able to be honest and be saying that you don't know something.
Yeah.
And I think about like as black men, we don't have enough spaces, and we don't have spaces that, we can talk about those things. We have spaces for the things that are not good for us, but we don't have spaces for things that, are good for us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, even with us just having this conversation right now on this podcast, and just being able to talk about our experience as black men, you think about it, like there's so many, little boys out there that turn into a grown man who just have never even talked about their experience of not being, not being welcome, or their experience of going through something, right? Or their experience of going through, like, I'm saying, that, discrimination, things like that.
Yeah.
But if we just had like a space, that's one thing that, I always, commend people for, is when there is a space for individuals to talk about that stuff, especially Black men. I think it does make a difference. I think it does make a difference in, identity. I think it makes a difference in, being able to understand one another. And it also helps us, to gain so much knowledge of the world through our experiences as, Black males,
So everybody got different experience, man. That's the beauty of it, man. When you can sit down with people that's been through similar things, but in a different way, man. Like I said, you can learn from that. And so, like, I feel like you're definitely right, man. We do need more spaces for Black males to really talk about that, man. Because I feel like the thing we didn't really touch on, we both grew up without our fathers.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a lot of Black people's story, which is
mm-hmm.
right or wrong. This is how it is. So I feel like
a
lot of people be around some people that don't never understand, and they had their dads their whole entire life. And then they get for granted. I'm like, man, you got a dad. You should be happy about it.
You should be thankful.
Yeah, my dad.
Hey, ask him as many questions as possible.
I wish I had a dad to talk to. Like, Dad, man, I need some homework. Dad, I'm about to go play this game. I'm nervous. I'm scared. Dad, I need your help. Or Dad, I'm about to talk to this girl. How do I handle this? I'm about to start a relationship. I'm about to have sex for the first time. Like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
I wish I had
those real conversations with them. Yeah.
Exactly, man. So that'd be another thing, man, that can help with, like, just having that perspective of growing up fatherless and trying to navigate life as a male and a Black male, which I feel like we talked about earlier, that brings another set of pressures with that, like expectations. Like, expect us to always be like the champions for the Black community. Because number one, we men, so we already seen as leaders, and two, we Black. So we gotta hold that cape for the Black people.
Yeah,
it brings that just added pressure. Like, everywhere you go, they see you as the Black educator, the Black officer. They don't just see you as an educator, officer, whatever.
It's always that was added at the beginning of it. Yeah. Let me ask you before we get into that, because I know you're about to go into that, and I know you're excited about that. But when we talking about that space, or having that space for Black males to speak, let me ask you, do you know? I'm just curious about, like, when we are in that space, you know what I'm saying? And we around each other. I'm not just saying us. I'm just saying in general. When Black males are around, so say with you with your friend group, all y'all, Black man.
Right.
Why don't we have those conversations instead of us talking about, like, BS and talking about stuff that's irrelevant and clowning and things like that? Why can't we be like, bro, I'm going through it right now. Hey, what you mean you going through it? I'm going through it. I'm going through it too, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why don't that happen more? That's what I'm just curious about that. That's crazy.
I mean, that don't really happen in society yet, for real, because people are afraid to talk about their feelings. You know what I mean? People are afraid to really delve deep in what's going on with them, because they probably don't like what they're gonna see, and so like, they kind of run away from their issues and their problems. So they definitely want to talk about it. Let's talk about sports. Let's talk about politics. Anything other than what's going on with you right here. If I do that,
so if I hit you with that, like, younger, just say we, like, younger, and it may have happened before. I know it's happened many times in the past with many individuals. I hit you with a bro, I ain't I'm going like ninth grade. I'm just give you example. My grandma passed away, bro. He's like, oh, dang, okay, bro.
Yeah,
like,
man,
you know what I'm saying? Instead of being like,
man, y'all catch the game, like, what's going on?
Like, it switched. Like, damn, bro, I can't talk about my grandma, bro. Like, bro, how that make you feel, bro?
It make everything you just that awkward feel. Like,
yeah.
Why you trying to talk about it? We can try to have a conversation, bro.
I mean, like, this one used to be back then. That man, his feelings, bro. Like, come on, bro.
So a little bit, like, you rather talk about anything else other than that, because people are afraid to deal with those emotions. Because especially as men, like, we feel like, we ain't supposed to have emotions. You ain't supposed to cry. You ain't supposed to feel sad. You ain't supposed to feel empty.
Nah.
Y'all supposed to be aggressive, always trying to be the confident alpha male in the group. Like, but people, like, nowadays, like, you kind of understand, like, you have to be. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to be have emotions. Not okay to be emotional and react like that. It's okay to have emotions and feelings and learn how to navigate that and talk about it too, man. Because if you can't talk about your feelings, man, it's hard for you to handle that. It's just so much noise in your head. You gotta let it out. Yeah.
And that gets, this is my last thing too, bro. I just thought about that. I started thinking about music because I always try to bring everything to music.
Yeah.
And I think about, just the music out nowadays. And I think about, like, that music, like J. Cole, right? I mean, used to be a big J. Cole fan. I used to be. I'm a big, I don't know what happened either. Man, like, I think because I moved to North Carolina, and everybody in North Carolina, J. Cole fan.
Yeah, like I said, we non-conformist, man. We don't like. We see somebody else doing like, I don't want to go there.
Yeah, that's how. Hey, when the artist turned, like he turned, like everybody started liking him. Like, all right, it was nice knowing that artist. I wish him well, you know what I'm saying? That type of thing. But I think about like J. Cole or somebody who like was very talking about stuff that's like intellectual, right?
Right.
Think about somebody like Kendrick Lamar, somebody like Nipsey, someone like that's really spreading that knowledge.
Right.
Is they're getting that love, you know what I'm saying, but they're not getting that love as compared to somebody who it's talking about that's something relevant, talking about what I'm saying, females, this money, these things. I don't understand that, bro. Like,
rapper, they're a conscious rapper at that point. You start talking about that stuff. Are you a conscious?
Yeah.
Rapper? You
Yeah.
You over here. We can't. This right here is mainstream, man. You can't really famous for the mainstream. So you stop talking about this, talk about this stuff. Cause this is what we want to hear.
We're gonna put you to the side right here. You can get 500,000 streams, not a million.
Get money, killing people. Yeah. We ain't talking about this stuff, man. That's cool, but I can't play this at a party, man. You know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to play? Oh, yeah, I lost my dad when I was younger. I still don't know what it means to be black. I'm still trying to find myself in life. That's cool. I don't want to think about that. Fucking bitches getting paid. All right, I'll turn that shit up, man. Turn that shit up, man. I ain't trying to deal with that stuff, man.
Yeah, he's ain't trying. Yeah, you're right though. You're right. Yeah, I just don't understand it. I mean, it's always gonna be like that. I mean, unless somebody like change it. But I definitely know when we was talking about earlier. I can go into our next piece. He was talking about individuals being in certain spaces, but then like you said, black officer, black educator, those things are put in front of those those positions, or in front of those positions. Why do you think that happens? Like, just tell me more about what you when you talk about that. What you mean by that?
So what I mean by like when we in a certain position, we always have to be labeled as black.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like me, man, a lot of times it can feel like condescending or like kind of like limiting to you. Like, man, like I feel like you can only go a certain point. So like you the greatest black, blah blah blah, to do whatever, but you never be the greatest because that's preserved for somebody not your skin complexion. So you always feel like it's limited to you because like, damn, like I'm just a person. Like, why you gotta label me and put me in this box? So I feel like I have to have these certain views and mindset when all I want to do is be the best, whatever I'm doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. That happens a lot, man. Like, so you see, like, the guy, what's his name? Neil deGrasse Tyson, the scientist / astronomer. Like, so he was basically talking about, like, he doesn't like to be classified as a black scientist because, like, he like it's limiting. Like, now I'm putting in a box where I feel like black people are going to look at me and feel like I have to have the same, like, viewpoints they have and things like that. And you're going to always view me as only this. Like, I'll only be a black scientist. I can't just be a scientist.
Yeah.
So I
can be a scientist,
I'd be the smartest scientist ever lived, but I can only be the greatest black scientist. But you still have somebody that's not as good as me. He be great scientist because he's just not. You don't have that label.
Yeah, you're right. That's really interesting that you said that, and I never thought about that until like I started thinking about it. Every time like the playoffs. I'm talking like right now basketball. Every time you see such and such has broken a record, right?
Yeah.
But it never says such and such is the first black player, or so it might say it sometimes.
Yeah.
But majority of the times it's just like such and such is, broken the scoring record, right? He's not such and such is the first black person to break the scoring record. It's like just such and such broke the scoring record.
It feel like patronizing. Feel like damn, like it's good for a black person. Yeah, it's good for a black person, but you still not better. You still not on our level. You know what I mean? Like we still up here, man. It's good for you. You black. It's good for you. You do good for you. For a black person, but you still ain't here, man. That's why I feel like a lot of people don't like that. Like I know I wouldn't. Like because I get to a position I want to be at. I want people like you the best black therapist ever. Like no, I'm just a therapist. I'm a good therapist.
Yeah, you should be able to just have titles, just the best or whatever. Just you just that,
Like we just people, man. Like nobody wants to put into a box or have a label slapped into them. We all just people at the end of the day. Like our skin complexion don't make us human beings, man. It's just a part of who we are.
It's a part of who we are.
I can't change that. I can't take the skin off and put on another skin. I'm just black.
You're right.
So like I said, it looks different for everybody because it is different for everybody. We all different people. We shouldn't be the same person. We shouldn't all have the same likes and dislikes and all have the same mindset. But then, that's just boring, man. It's not life. Like life is just changed by people growing, having different perspectives, all that stuff, man. So I feel like as a community, we start embracing diversity more instead of just wanting diversity just for black people, just but still wanted just to be black though.
Yeah.
Cause you ever see that? Like they have a black person in the movie, but he ain't acting prototypically black. They mad about that. Like, what? You got that black dude acting like that, man. They ain't black.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's the version. This is a black person in the movie, but it's still not the person you want because he's not acting what you want.
Yeah. You want to act a certain way in the movie. Yeah. Exactly. You're right. And that's the thing too. And I think it's really like, I think it's like community, bro. Like, how are you embraced by your community, you know? Yeah. And I think, you know, what happens is like individuals get, how the community embraces in a certain way. So like, if you're doing something that's like, it could be something good no matter what. They be like, oh, like this person's doing this and this other person's doing the same exact thing. But like you said, it might be a role. Their role is totally different than the person who played, the main character, like Wakanda Forever. Right. Like played him, right? But then somebody else is like, played. Well, I can't even think of the movie. God, it's one of the superhero movies. But
Iron Man guy, that guy.
It's one of the dudes. He played one of the guys playing the ATL the show. He's like his name, he's Paperboy, but then now he's in the he's in a superhero movie. But
I ain't seen ATL in a minute, man. Who you talking about? I know T.I.
Oh no, Paperboy, no, ATL the show, the one with
Come on, we got classic.
Paperboy.
It's a movie like
Atlanta the show. I always gotta say it to people. Atlanta the show. He's talking about the big dude, yeah.
I forget what he played. I know you talking about that movie with the Eternals. That movie.
Yeah. But I mean, he ain't getting no love. I ain't seen nothing like on Yahoo, Google, none that just give him no love. And I know that's his first like big role that he's played in. Yeah. Compared to my guy who just was in Creed 3. I mean, he got mad love. Yeah. But now since all this stuff is going on, like community and everybody then counsel him already. Yeah, exactly. Not even knowing the details of it.
That's a topic for another day, man. How people just can hop on stuff without knowing nothing about it and kind of like they be judged and jury about that stuff.
Yeah. But I definitely think like it needs to be more of like, let's hear individuals out, let's give them their flowers. Another thing too is like people, I know this is kind of going, but when I think about like people who like pouring into others, like, and the black community don't really give people their flowers until they gone. You know what I'm saying? And I just I think about them like, why can't the individual get the flowers while they're there? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Why can't Nipsey get his flowers while he's there? Like even certain activists back then wasn't getting that that love until they were gone.
Yeah, that's why.
Which is crazy.
I always dislike like Al Sharpton and people like that, man. Yeah. Always hop on a black person death, like you say, after they died. Like, you make it seem like their life was so important and stuff like that. Like, he was nowhere near them. He cared anything about them when they was alive. If Nipsey never got shot, a lot of people wouldn't even be thinking about it.
Still, brothers would not be on him at all, bro.
About him. Now, once he died, like, oh man, I love Nipsey, man. He was so,
bro. It was so, it was so funny, bro. People hit me up. I've been listening to this since high school, bro. And people would hit me up, bro, and be like, oh, bro, like Nipsey died, this and that, and I was like, yeah, he died, bro. Like, he's like, oh, bro, I can't believe Nipsey died, bro. I was so heartbroken. It's like, bro, go somewhere. Like, you don't even know one Nipsey song. You know what I'm saying?
One album in there had something,
bro. And that's how that's how people are.
Like, it's all plays back what we talked about earlier, man. You want to fit in and conform and stuff, man. You don't feel left out. See all the people talking about how they like them. Like, damn, I want to feel included too, man. Like, I like this. I think I like
bro.
Music.
I had a conversation with a dude, bro. This is like legit, like maybe 3 months after Nipsey like passed away, and it was one of my homegirls, and it was like a guy she used to date or whatever. And I was talking to him. I was like at their space and everything at their place. And I was talking to him about he's like, oh, I was talking about Nipsey. I was like, bro, you know who Nipsey is? And he's like, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I didn't even know who Nipsey was, bro. Like, but now he's one of my favorite rappers. I'm like, bro, like now you want to hop on the wave after the end pass. Now you want to give him his flowers. It's like, bro, what were you back? What were you back then? You know what I'm saying?
I get like death makes people give you more notoriety. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like death for the art. Like once you die, like your art becomes transcended at that point. But like a lot of people like they probably don't even like it for real now. They just like, yeah, that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna act like I like it.
Yeah, I'm a Nipsey. If I listen to Nipsey, that mean like I'm woke. I mean I'm like for the community.
Exactly, man.
Bro, that's
like you actually get like, nah, man. Like you don't see you, man. Like I ain't never listened to him. Like, hey, just clarify that. So like, he's a friend. I ain't never listened to him.
Cheryl ain't never listened to Nipsey, bro.
One song, man, that came in the name of, man. I listen to him. Other than that, man, like, I ain't never been about it. I ain't gonna be about it. So.
But he ain't never bashed Nipsey. When I used to listen to him, he's like, okay, cool. I'm like, bro, I'm listening to Nipsey. Like, okay, cool, bro.
He like to bash fly music. He's a music snob. Yeah. If you don't understand that, he like to bash. You don't like to ask his wife. Like, you don't like the music. He like, bro. Like, you get in the car, you start playing jump like, bro.
Yeah, what is this? I'm a critic. I'm a critic of the music. Yeah. I even became a critic on Cole, bro. I think Cole was a great rapper. I think he does so many great things for the community.
He stopped listening to Cole after that album came out 2014. People, so.
Bro, when I moved to North Carolina, everybody was like they Cole fans. I was like, can't be a Cole world no more, bro. You remember I used to listen to J. Cole for games and everything.
He put me on J. Cole. I remember the first time I heard a J. Cole song, that mixtape, the warm up back in the warm up. He played it. He don't even like it at all, bro. Like, that's crazy.
I was like, bro, I can't listen to Cole no more, bro. Maybe it's the dreads. I don't know.
Changed up, man. That's wild, man.
That's funny, bro. But yeah, I definitely I know we wanted to talk a little bit more, talking about the Black experience. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about just having a moment, in life. And I definitely want to share this moment, with our viewers, of just a time where you like realized that the color of your skin, bro, is like, that the color of skin, you're going to go through certain things, you know what I'm saying? That some traumatic is going to happen. Some in your life is going to happen to show you like, yo, this can happen to anybody that's like you know what I'm saying? You want to share that experience, Trey?
Yeah, I want to clarify, man. Just because we talking about like how like our Black experience is different, don't mean like we don't care about Black people. We don't understand like how Black people are marginalized in society. Like we understand that. Trust me. Like I see it firsthand because I work in the jails, man. You see nothing but Black people. Like 90 to 85% of Black people in there, and it's crazy to think about because that's how they want to see us, as animals, as just criminals, as thugs. So like you always feel like as a Black person, you gotta try to break that mold and be better at that, so they see you as one of the good Black people. You know what I mean? And that right there is kind of like that just goes back to what we were talking about earlier, man. Centuries ago, like we were all enslaved. They were like, you are less than human. You less than 1%. You're not a human being. We see you less. You on the same level as a donkey, as an animal. So like you gotta think about that mindset. It's always been in the mind of people in charge and government. So like the older generation still had that mindset. It's hard to change like how you view somebody overnight. So like that's still there, man. So that inbred racism is still there, man. It's subtle now. It's hidden. Like it's not like out in your face, like we're gonna beat your ass, like you riding king for no reason. You can't do that nowadays. But like you get a cop to pull you over, man, he's still gonna act like a dick to you just because you're Black. And he know he can because he got power over you. Like do something. I want to do something. You can't do shit. You know what I mean? He know that. It's still there, man. It's still there. Like you go for a job interview, you feel like, damn, like why is it? I feel like I have more capabilities, a higher, better resume, and all that stuff than this guy. But it seemed like you just treated me differently just because of the color of my skin. Like you just expected me to be different. So you already had that predisposition towards me. So it's stuff like that, man. Like as Black people, feel like you gotta. We always had to chip on our shoulders. So we always seen as aggressive because we had to be aggressive. You know what I mean? So it feel like we always had to fight for everything. Always had to fight to get to where we want to get. Always had to fight for acceptance. Like everybody else didn't get that. They just normally get that. White people are just accepted just because they are born. Us people, you gotta fight for that.
Yeah. I definitely think, like you said, bro, like proving ourselves, like we always, especially like Black males, Black men, just having to prove ourselves like all the time that, we could be doing the same thing that somebody else is doing, but we have to work 10 times harder, to show like, I'm really about this, you know what I'm saying? And then, just like you said before, just all the things that come with like being a Black man, like those things in the back of our heads of thinking like, we driving like, oh, police drive by, you like, let me go and look back. Even though I ain't doing nothing wrong, let me go and look back because he most likely going to turn around. You know what I'm saying? Pull you over.
Hands on the wheel.
Hands on the wheel, things like that. But being able to, to be, open about that stuff and say like, and we all experience it. And that's one thing, like when me and Trail talk, I always say like, yo, Trail, like, hey, you feel the same as that way? And, the older that I get, the more I'm around, Black man like myself, older, younger, I'm having these conversations like, yo, like just be like straight up with me, like talk to me. Let's talk about this. Like, do you feel this way? You know what I'm saying? Or these things that, come up in your everyday life? Or these things like you, like, subconsciously think about these things, or these things like just going, these things are never going to go away.
No.
So let's talk about them. But and then also I think too, Trev, like you have those experiences, or you think that way. It's like being able to share with other people, that don't even realize like the way you live your life and the things that you go through, they'll never have to think about those things. And I even had a conversation with one of my colleagues, which is a good friend of mine, and we were talking about just how how certain things can look. You know what I'm saying? So let's say you pulled over by the cops and this and that. Like we have to be calm. We can't see like we like aggressive things like that. We can't raise our tone like just any small movement, things like that. And it was fun. It was crazy because he was telling me about his experience. He was telling me about he had like an individual with him, a lady with him, and he was just saying like he was going through his experience, and she's like, oh, like she's like talking to the cop and things like that. He's like, yo, chill, like you understand, like this man can do whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and he can say whatever, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, yo, calm down, like this is how it is. This is how it is with me being the driver.
You
like,
trying to make it home, whatever you say.
I'm just trying to leave here. I'm trying to make it home safe, But that I mean, that's real though. I mean, those are the type of things you think about. Even as me being in education and thinking about like, in general, being around, students, students in college who, especially Black men in college, like, they're walking, around this, walking around the campus or walking, in the classroom and being in the classroom, just wanting to have that acceptance, in the back of their head, they're like, the teacher might say something they didn't even realize that the teacher may have said something that made them, uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? Or said something like, oh, like I'm trying to be relatable to them, but really just said something, that was like, racist or discriminatory, something like that. Discriminated. But that type of thing, but I'm about to go on a whole little rant. But you get what I'm saying though?
Yeah. I understand, man. You're right, man. Like that's why I feel like you said we should have more spaces. We need more spaces like that. People can talk about their different experience because somebody never grew up like that or had to have that mindset growing up. Don't understand what you're talking about. To them, that's not reality. Like, you're making that up, bro. That ain't real. Cause that's not how. Because to them, their reality is real. But to you, it's different because we have different perspectives. So for us, when we see cops, it's a whole different feel. Like we just feel like, man, something could go wrong, man. They either they gonna leave us alone or we about to get some bad's gonna happen. You know what I mean? But to white person, they still cop, man, F that cop. Man, he can't do nothing to me. I'm gonna call my dad on him. I'm gonna get my lawyer on him. I'm gonna call my attorney. You know what I mean? Like they just look at it differently. Like you ever seen
those experiences are different? Yeah.
Dave Chappelle's kid. He would talk about like he was in I think LA or whatever with him and his white friend. That dude was smoking weed and drinking while he was driving. Got pulled over. That man like. They F the cop, all this stuff, blah blah. He's just like, man, I'm just trying to make it home off whatever you say, officer. That man smoking weed in his face and stuff. Like,
that's crazy.
And he feel like he can do that. Like he's like, what's you gonna do to me? You shoot me, you ain't gonna shoot me because you don't want to lose your job. All that stuff. Like us, we know they don't care about that. Yes, they'll do whatever to us. So we just it's just like that different experience that we have with people in authority, government. That's why people like Black people so like hesitant about authority and government. Like we just don't like. When you talk to Black people, they kind of don't even like the president. That's how I see it. The president ain't doing nothing for the Black community. They already know, like back in the day, the president was the main person trying to oppress us. The main person putting laws and stuff in place to keep us oppressed and stuff.
Yeah.
Keep that segregation going. So we already know how it can go. They like it now, but like that could change. It's just, no matter who get in office. You just see Trump get in office. You already talking about that crazy stuff, man.
I went to Florida, bro. I got Trump. They ready to go in Florida, boy.
Exactly. You got somebody in power that already don't like you, and always willing to have a fan base don't like you. Now, all it takes is a little bit of sprinkling on that fire peg, man. It's gonna blow up, and then we back to how we was 100 years ago.
Yeah, you're right. And
you gotta sit in the back of the bus. You know what I mean? Like minorities can't do it. That's all it takes.
Yeah, and it was crazy because we talking about that experience, and I was just thinking about the time, Trey. I want to definitely share this experience with back in high school, just with us, just in the at in my neighborhood, I was a senior, Trey was a junior, and then we was one of our friends, Parker, who was white guy. He was with us, and we all we always worked out together, things like that, and so they were at my house and. We had played the game or something like that. And he was like, yo, let's just walk outside, just walk in the neighborhood. And we walked in the neighborhood, and his name like maybe 7:30, 8. It wasn't even like late. And the guy, and we like walking. He was right behind us. We look like, what the world? And then, so then like we like had the police made us like sit down, everything. You know, I thought did he put the handcuffs on? I don't even remember that. Did he put them on?
I think he did. I think he just.
He put them. He was about to. Yeah, that was the next thing.
Yeah.
But he was like asking us a bunch of questions. You know, he was like, "Do y'all stay over here? Like, what are y'all doing over here?" And it was like most likely it was like somebody in the neighborhood might have called the cops on us or something. But we weren't no suspicious look. You know what I mean? We weren't no suspicious looking kids.
All the big and black, man. That's all it takes.
Yeah, that's all it was. But then like our friend, at the time, I mean, he didn't even understand like what was going on, and we had to explain it to him like, "Yo, this is what's going on." Like, and he's like, "Wow, like I never even knew that y'all experienced that." And I was like, "Yeah, bro, this is what we experience, every day, that was like an eye opener.
It was, man. To us, it just felt, it wasn't, I won't say normal, but it felt like, what can we do about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is how things are, man. But now you're looking back at it like, that should be how it is, man. Cops should be always trying to prioritize. That's why they always in black communities more than in like the upper white, high influential communities. You know what I mean? Like you go home
suburb
or where you stay, like the cops are mainly in the hood, man. That's what they be at. They ain't driving around like the rich part of town. They got no reason to. They feel like the crime's gonna happen where the poor people at, the black and minority people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that comes just from way back, all that disenfranchisement, man. When they didn't want us to have power and money, so they put us there. And now we there. You ain't got power and money. What the hell are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Where does crime come from? It comes from a lack of having some people trying to get something. People rob because they ain't got shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I heard this thing Tupac said, bro. He was like, they told us, we asked politely.
Yeah.
He said, knocked on the door. We asked politely, "Hey, can we get some food?" They answered though. Then we came and then we was like, then we, asked politely again, like we made it to something. We just want some food. Can we get some food? Right. And then he said like the last thing he said. Then the third thing was like, we knocking down the door. We're like, we rocking down the door. We're gonna get food now. So we asked the nice way, and y'all wouldn't give it to that way. Now we got to use force because he's like, y'all won't hear us. And I mean, what he says like it's so relevant to this day. It's like it's the same exact thing. It's like, yo, we asked for these things politely. We want these things, and then we have to go to the next step. And I mean, it was definitely like back, getting like 50 years ago, 40 years ago. I mean, this is the type of stuff that had to, that was still happening. They had to do like, yo, we asked, won't change. Let's use that force.
That's why things like the LA riots and stuff like that happen because people feel like they ain't being heard by the government, the powers that be. They're gonna take it in their own hands. That's what start revolutions, man. And sooner or later, I feel like I ain't gonna put that out in the world, but you never know, man. Things
Lord, no.
People, like kind of want to divide people. If you feel like I got less than you, just because just because like people like F this. I'm gonna take what's mine. I'm gonna take what I need. And then it's gonna be something else, man. But
definitely,
it's real.
I definitely think with the race piece, like I said, being a black man, like we just like are very conscious, of these things, and is very conscious, very aware of these things.
Word,
yeah, very conscious and aware. But I think as we get older too, with that wisdom and that just experiences, we just know that these things, these are our everyday life, and these are things that we're going to deal with in the future. Like we said earlier, things that's going to come up, like in the next couple of days, may come up tomorrow, may come up, next week. But just being able to share those experiences, and I definitely think like just being able to have those spaces, like you said before, Trey, being able to have those spaces where we can really just be like very, have, very intellectual conversations, like conversations that's very intentional, like actually putting is very intentional, like it's actually happening, and being able to just kind of like pick up one another, because like I think it's the biggest thing is like we try to be perfect, we try to be like strong, especially black men try to be strong, but being able to share these experiences, man, will be so much better for like not only us as men, but also for the youth as well, man. And I think we're getting away from it even more because like the youth is not getting that stuff that that we got when we were when we were younger as far as certain things. I feel like now it's like they're getting more information thrown, too much information thrown at them compared to when we were like younger. We had the opportunity to think like, what do I want to take in instead of like everything is thrown at me, I have to take in.
Right. Yeah, you're right about that, man. Social media is a good thing, I guess, for like expanding your immediate circle, meeting people,
Yeah.
learning things, connecting more. But then it's kind of bad. You got, like you said, little kids out here. The information they ain't ready for, man. They don't know what to do with that information, so they gonna look at it through the mind of a child immaturely and react immaturely to it. So I feel like but that's a good point to make, man. Like black kids nowadays, man, they see all this stuff, man. They don't know how to handle it because they got nobody to talk to about it. So they just like that's how it comes with all the anger and stuff like animosity because they're like they see it's wrong, but they don't know the right way to go about fixing it because nobody's talking to them about that.
Yeah. And I feel like I said, everything is, like you said earlier, everything is thrown at them. I mean, and the things that they're getting is not pouring into their life for the good. I mean, if you constantly as a kid, I'm thinking like, bro, if I'm a fourth grader, right, and I have access to YouTube, and I'm thinking the fourth grade. I remember I was in fourth grade, and boy, we had dial up, you know what I'm saying? But I'm in fourth grade. I'm able to go on YouTube. I'm able to watch rap videos. I'm able to watch whatever I want to watch. I'm watching all this explicit stuff. I'm taking all this stuff, cuss words, whatever, everything that come with it. But I also have the opportunity to get stuff that's going to pour into my life. If nobody shows me like, on YouTube, you can look this up and find this.
Yeah.
Then I'm never going to do that. I'm going to keep looking, I'm going to keep looking at stuff that's, irrelevant.
That's a good point too, man. If you don't show the kid like all that stuff you see in the music videos are fake, man. They ain't out here killing people. They ain't out here selling dope. They ain't out here doing this. They probably got one woman and that's it, man. They ain't out here doing what they say they do. So they feel like, oh man, that's so cool. That's how you supposed to live, man. That's how I want to live. So I heard like, I'm gonna get a gun and go shoot somebody. I'm gonna rob somebody. I'm gonna kill somebody. I'm gonna be a monogamist and cheat on my woman all the time and try to do all this because that's what I see my idols doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're right. So that definitely, I said that influence is a big piece. And that's a big thing. Like, I know I keep saying Nipsey, but that's the big thing you talk about, just that influence, man. They said how the kids, I know you said one quote he had said, how the kids spell love is time. The amount of time that you spend with the amount of time that you are pouring into them. And I think that's a big thing because like now, I mean, this right now is the perfect time to do that because like they don't have that, they don't have those role models and those individuals that they're watching online, things like that are not those role models. A kid, I always think like this, bro. If a fourth grader watching the same thing that a grown 35-year-old man is watching, that's not good. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry.
That's a good point, man. We into the same stuff, man. There's something wrong with that, man. We doing it.
Like if little dude know, the lyrics to this, to this song,
but, every day.
Yeah.
Too, like, it's not.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm hearing kids like nowadays. I'm like, bro, like how I'm like, bro, he talking about this, right?
Yeah, I know he's talking about that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know that he talking about that. And I'm about, and then like I'm about that, and like, man, you're in fourth grade. Come on, now, like you don't need to be about that. Exactly. Be a fourth grader. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy. There's the image, man. We can talk about that too, man. I feel like it's gonna be another topic. We talk about masculinity, man. How that look? But I'm curious. Be hard, man. Always gotta be strong.
I'm curious too, Terrell. Let me ask you, bro. Would you like, you've been like a CEO, with these individuals like that, in the jails, bro? Do they talk about like just like they experience? Like, did they always just like, yo, I just came when I was young, I did this, and that's the reason why I'm here? Like,
I work nights, so I definitely get. At nighttime, people get even when you're not drinking, people just start getting, I guess, emotional. Like. I was sitting there like just doing my job. I had mates coming to me talking about their story, white, black, it don't matter. It just I want somebody to talk to. I'm a good listener, so I'm sitting there listening to them. And one of them telling me about how like we were talking about our faith in God, man. He was telling me about how he grew up, man. Like he was always making the wrong, quote unquote, wrong decisions, man. Got like really heavy into drugs and started hating himself, and his family like disowned him and stuff like that, man. And he kind of went down the wrong path. And then he found God. He trying to change his life and stuff, man. So we had like a long conversation about that. Now another dude, black dude I spoke to, he didn't even really understand about the concept of going to college. He's like, you went to college? He's like, well, I was crazy. I'm like, yeah, I graduated from college, man. Like, he's like, what? How was that, man? Like, I can't even imagine going to college, bro. Like, I thought that was so crazy. Like, that's how it is for a lot of black people. They can't imagine higher education and doing things that is kind of like typical in society because it ain't not really made for them. You know what I mean? They don't have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, you're right. That's big, and I think about that exposure, bro. And that's one thing that I feel like a lot of individuals like need, exposure to be able to say like, okay, like yeah, like we saying earlier, exposure to YouTube stuff like that. But I'm saying that like that positive exposure of like have somebody talking about what is college, have somebody talking about finances, have somebody talking about
loving themselves,
love themselves, bro. That's the number one thing, bro. They do not talk.
People don't love themselves because they don't know how. Like nobody
bro.
ever set them down. Like, hey, this or showed them just by living their life. This is how you know yourself.
Yeah,
That's how you take care of yourself.
Yeah, bro. That's one thing too. Like growing up, bro, I always was like, bro, I just want to talk to like a male figure to just be like, yo, this is how you love yourself. Yo, this is how you treat a woman. Yo, this is how you know what I'm saying? This is how you lead by example. Yeah. Make sure that you don't talk this way. Make sure you be respectful of women. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All these different things, bro. And people be like, yo, like, what is the answer? The answer is to have a male, every kid, male or female, especially males and females, but especially males, need a male role model to like be able to show them like this is how this is the best way to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is how you become a man.
Yeah, they need a trailblazer, man. Somebody light the path for you so you know which way to go. So you're not running around in the dark with your eyes closed like, damn, where am I going? Like we gotta give you all the answers, man, but at least give me something. At least help me start the question, man. At least let me start the test. Don't give me a blank sheet with a pen and be like, hey, figure out life. Like, help me write down something. Let me help you on this path so I know which one I'm going.
I feel like if you put like little kids or little boys like in a room full of like successful men, like grown men who like successful in all these different careers and successful in just life, spiritual or whatever way, you know what I'm saying? And just talk to them and start talking about certain things, all them hands gonna go up, bro. All them hands on the kids gonna go up, and they're gonna keep asking questions. It's gonna be like questions forever. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be like one question. It's gonna be like question. All right, we got to end now because y'all asking all these questions. Because that's what kids are curious, bro.
Yeah, they want to know this stuff, but you don't have nobody to tell them. So at that point, like, I guess, I forget about it. You know what I mean? Like, you're right, man. Kids want to know this stuff, man. And that's why you said you're right. It's good to have positive role models in somebody's life, man, that can really help them. That's why I can't wait till my daughter get old enough and can have these conversations.
Yeah,
we had this. I gotta make sure we had these topics about life, about like you loving yourself, about finding your passion, about how to be a genuine person, a good person in this world. How does that look? You know what I mean? Like,
definitely,
bro. Had these conversations with her, so she don't have to go through the same struggles I went through, but she have a head start on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She don't have to wait till she like mid-20s to figure out what she really want to do with her life and how to really be herself and stuff like that.
Yeah, and this thing about it, bro, I had a conversation with my little girl that I was taking to school, and she was just like, she's like, I want to be in the same sentence, but she's like, I want to be a dentist, and I was like, okay, good. I want to be a doctor too. I was like, oh, a doctor and dentist, and she's like, I want to be a cook. I said, oh, you gonna cook too? And she's like, and then at the end, she's like, I want to be a teacher too, Daddy. Can I be a teacher? I was like, oh, you can do all those. You know what I'm saying?
So my daughter said the same thing. She said, Daddy, I want to be a teacher, Daddy. I want to be fireman, Daddy. He said, you definitely can do that.
Yeah. But that's definitely, that's a big thing, man. And I think about like, I think about as a kid, like it'll be less, no disrespect to sports, no disrespect to football, basketball, things like that. Because, those are opportunities for you, to, get out of poverty, things like that.
Right.
But I think about if you had an individual talk to you more about those things, especially at a younger age, then you'll be able to say like, I do want to be a dentist. I actually know what it takes to be a dentist. Yeah. I actually saw a black man as a dentist as well, and I know that since he could be a dentist, I could be a dentist too. Right. And that's big, man. That definitely gives you something to look towards.
Yeah, you're right, man. It's hard to envision something you ain't never seen before, man.
Bro, that's the realest thing.
I ain't never seen my Everest. I can't really envision it in my mind. I don't know how that looks. But I've seen male black doctors before, so I know that's possible. I've seen black lawyers before, so I know that's possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've seen successful people that look like me doing what they do, so I know it's possible, man. So you're right about that, man. It's important to have people that look like us doing the things we want to do, man. It gives you hope that it's possible for you too.
It is, bro. And I definitely say, like, I just hope that, as time go on, individuals, black males, kids, the youth will be able to have, those individuals. I feel like I just hope that people will continue to reach back, and if they're not reaching back, being able to just to take, grab as many youth as possible to show them the way, man. And it's crazy. I think like as we get older, when you learning more stuff, it's just like every time you learn something new. I know with me, and just even with some of my friends, anytime we learn something new, it's like you like, wow, I wish I would have known that in third grade. I wish I would have known that when I was in seventh grade.
Well,
I was no,
I was growing up. I know it changed a lot of things, man.
I know, right?
That's crazy, man. But it's definitely been a very good conversation, man. Like, we could talk about this for hours, man. Cause there's so much to it, man. It's such a broad topic, so it's a dense topic, man. There's so many things that go into the topic of the black experience and the black male experience, man. And good thing we got an opportunity to sit down today and speak about this, man, and really dive into like how it looks for us, how we feel like our perspective on how it looks in society, and the things we could do better, man. I really like what you said about the youth, man. Like, keep bringing it back there, because that's how you make change. I heard some earlier, man. It's hard once you get to a certain point. Like, it's hard for you to change, like, fundamentally who you are. Yeah. Like, but it's easier when you're a young kid, because you absorb more stuff. You still like Play-Doh, kind of like you still malleable, like you still able to form whatever way the wind blows. You know what I mean? So that's why if you really want to change stuff, you can't be trying to change old people and older people's opinion. Like, you're gonna be hitting a brick wall every single time. Better and more convenient and smarter to start with the youth, man, and do it that way. Show them the right ways to live and how to treat people and how to see themselves in the world, man. And that's really gonna create change. They're gonna grow up and be those people, and then they're gonna do. They're
gonna be that change.
And then that's how it's gonna be like a cycle. That's how society will change, man. So to me, like, that's the answer to, if you want to change something, start with society. Start with the younger generation, man. That's what really will change what happen now.
Yeah. I always heard this thing say, be that change that you want to see. You know what I'm saying? And then it starts with you. And like I said, like you said before, giving back to the youth. Also, just individuals just need to like serve others, man. Just like serve. We on this earth to serve others and be able like to give back. I know one thing for me, man, is being able to volunteer. Time, volunteer. Any type of thing. Community. It really do make a difference, man. Because it shows you that not only how far you've come, but it also shows you like where you can help everybody else get to. And that's the way of life. So I definitely say this podcast is amazing, by the way.
I love it, man. Like, it's really something special to be able to talk to somebody that like that's really close with, that's like a brother to you, and really just talk about life with you. Like, a lot of times we don't make scripts about this, man. We just get a topic and we're like, about kind of this point right here, and then see where it goes, man. And I just enjoy doing it, man, because it's needed, man. I wish more people had these conversations, man. And society will be a little bit better. We're all able to talk about things like this and really try to find solutions to these problems. But
definitely, we could go on. And right there, make sure y'all tune into our podcast next week. We're gonna be back next week, like we say all the time. We're gonna stay consistent. We definitely gonna start the month off nice in June. Summertime already. That's crazy, right? Summertime.
2023 is blind, man. It's about to be Father's Day, man. So it's a lot going on, man. So we're gonna try to, like, in June we might be not as consistent. I know you're going out of town. I'm going out of town too in June. So we're gonna try to be as consistent as we can with all this stuff, man. But we're definitely gonna be. We're gonna keep going on, keep around.
We're definitely gonna pick back up on it. But make sure that y'all subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you tell your friend about the podcast, and then they tell their friend, and they tell their friend, and just keep it going. Like I said, man, this is something that we know what we do. Like I said, make sure you guys tune in to the podcast next week. And hey, have a good night. Peace.